You know that feeling when you're sitting right next to your child and somehow it feels like there's a wall between you that you can't even see? You're physically there, you're present, but something is missing, and you can't quite put your finger on what it is. That quiet distance that creeps into families isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It just slowly grows, one rushed morning at a time, one distracted dinner at a time, one not now at a time. And if you're watching this right now, something inside you already knows that. Something in you is already saying, I want more than this for my family. Let me tell you something that most parenting conversations completely miss. The families that have the strongest, most unbreakable bonds, the kind where kids actually want to come home, where conversations flow naturally, where there's genuine warmth in the house. Those families didn't get there by doing something massive. They got there by doing small things differently, consistently, over time. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today. But before we go deeper, I want you to know that we have related programs linked in the description below this video. These are resources that go into the kind of depth that a single video simply cannot cover. And here is the truth. Most people will scroll past that description, tell themselves they'll check it later, and never come back. If part of you is already feeling that pull, that sense of, this is exactly what my family needs right now, trust that instinct. The parents who act on that feeling are the ones who see real change. The ones who wait rarely do. Now let's talk about what is actually happening in most homes today. Picture this. The morning alarm goes off. Immediately, there is chaos. Breakfast, backpacks, shoes that no one can find, maybe a few sharp words exchanged, and then everyone scatters to their separate corners of the day. You spend hours apart. You come back together in the evening, exhausted, everyone glued to their own screen, dinner eaten in 5 minutes, and then bed. And somewhere in that routine, connection gets quietly squeezed out. Not because anyone wanted that, not because you're a bad parent, but because life is relentless, and nobody taught you how to protect that connection inside the chaos. Studies in family psychology consistently show that children who feel genuinely emotionally connected to their parents perform better in school, have stronger mental health outcomes, and are significantly less likely to struggle with anxiety and behavioral issues as they grow up. These aren't small numbers. Researchers have found that the quality of parent-child connection in early and middle childhood has ripple effects that last for decades. That means the small moments happening in your home right now are not small at all. They are building or eroding something enormous. Here is a pattern interrupt for you. The families who struggle most are not the ones dealing with the biggest problems. They are the ones using the wrong framework for connection. And the shift that changes everything is shockingly simple. Micro moments. That's it. Research from the field of positive psychology, including landmark work from institutions like the University of North Carolina, shows that brief, genuine moments of positive connection, lasting only seconds, have a compounding effect on relationship quality over time. You do not need hours. You need intentional seconds. A hand on the shoulder while passing in the hallway. Making eye contact and actually smiling when your child walks into the room. Not glancing up from your phone, actually stopping and smiling. These tiny moments are neural deposits into an emotional bank account that your child draws from every single day. Parents who understand this report something remarkable within just a few weeks of being consistent. The atmosphere in their home shifts. Kids become more cooperative without being pushed. Communication opens up without being forced. The tension that used to be a constant background noise starts to fade. These are not exaggerations. These are patterns that family therapists and child development specialists see again and again across thousands of families. But let's talk about the pain underneath all of this, because I think you deserve someone who actually goes there with you. There is something uniquely devastating about feeling disconnected from your own child. It is not like any other kind of loneliness. It is the loneliness of being right there, in the same house, maybe even the same room, and still feeling like you're not quite reaching them. Like there is a version of your relationship that could exist, that you can almost see, but you cannot quite get to it. And every time you try and it doesn't go the way you hoped, something in you quietly wonders if it's too late, or if maybe you're doing something fundamentally wrong. You are not doing something fundamentally wrong, and it is not too late. But you do need a different approach. One of the most powerful shifts any parent can make is moving from reactive to intentional. Most of us parent reactively. Something happens and we respond. The problem is, reactive parenting is always chasing. Intentional parenting creates. It builds ahead of time the kind of relationship that can handle the hard conversations, the teenage years, the moments of rebellion, the moments of fear. Parents who invest in that intentionality early do not find themselves scrambling when their children hit harder developmental stages. They find themselves having actual conversations, real ones, the kind that make a difference. Here is another pattern interrupt. Think about the last time your child genuinely laughed with you. Not a polite smile, not a response to a joke you forced. A real spontaneous moment of shared joy. When was that? For some of you, you can remember it clearly and it fills you with warmth. For others, you have to think harder than you want to admit. That gap, that space between you and that memory, is exactly what we are talking about today. And it is closable. Completely closable. Let's talk about what the other side of this looks like, because this is where it gets real. Families who implement consistent, small bonding practices report things like their children voluntarily sharing things about their day, choosing to spend time at home instead of always escaping elsewhere, coming to parents first when something goes wrong rather than hiding it. One of the most common things family specialists hear from parents who have turned this around is a version of the same sentence. I feel like I actually know my child now. Not their schedule, not their grades, their actual inner world, their fears and their jokes and the things they think about before they fall asleep. That is worth everything. That is the return on investment of doing this right. And the cost of not doing it shows up too. Children who grow up feeling emotionally disconnected from their parents are statistically more likely to seek belonging in places that do not serve them, more likely to struggle with trust, more likely to carry relational wounds into their adult lives. The gap you feel now does not stay the same size. It either shrinks or it grows. Time alone does not close it. Intentional action does. We are talking about a few minutes a day. We are talking about simple language shifts that cost nothing but change the entire emotional tone of a conversation. We're talking about understanding what your child actually needs to feel loved. Because research on love languages and family dynamics consistently shows that parents and children often feel love differently, and that mismatch alone creates disconnection that neither person can explain. When you start to understand the framework underneath all of this, everything becomes clearer. You stop guessing. You stop feeling like you are throwing things at the wall hoping something sticks. You start parenting with precision, with warmth, and with results that you can actually feel in your home. Here is your final pattern interrupt. You didn't stumble on this video by accident. Something in you is already looking. And now you have a choice. You can take what you have heard here and try to piece it together on your own, which some of you will do, and that is okay. Or you can go deeper. Right now, in this moment, while this is still fresh and the feeling is real. The programs linked in the description below this video are there for the parents who are ready to stop waiting for things to get better on their own. The parents who already know that knowledge without support is just information, and that real transformation happens with the right structure behind it. Those programs are not for everyone, and honestly, if you're satisfied with where things are, they are not for you. But if that quiet voice inside you is saying, I want more for my family than this, then do not let today be another day you waited. Go to the description, take that next step. Your family is worth it.